We then move on to the second phase of labour. This is where your baby will actually be born. It can be broken down into these further stages too. So transition, that we mentioned already. This is where adrenaline gives the body an oomph to birth your baby. It can bring feelings of, I can't do this anymore, or it's stuck, or I want a cesarean now, or give me the epidural, or I want to go home, or all these feelings of fight and flight. These are a response to these feelings in your body. It's important for your birth partner at this point to remind you what your plans and your wishes were beforehand, though of course things can be changed, you always know, but it's important to remember that this time will be short, this feelings of adrenaline response will be short and it will pass. And then some people experience what we call rest and be thankful, what's often known as rest and be thankful. This is your body's natural pause. And some people experience it when their cervix reaches full dilation. So your body's giving you a short rest before it moves into the expulsive reflex bearing down, pushy phase. So then we have bearing down, which is also known as the expulsive reflex. So now that the cervix is fully dilated, your contractions change direction. This is your body literally bearing downwards to move your baby through the birth canal and out. Some people describe it like reverse vomiting, which sounds a bit gross. But when you have that feeling of throwing up and there's nothing you can do about it, it's just coming up and there's nothing you can change. This feeling of expulsive reflex is your body's response to the changes that have happened in your body. And it's now ready to bear down, to move down from your top of your uterus is pushing down. And it's a response, it's a reflex. You can't control it. It is like throwing up downwards. It's your body doing that downwards and you can't change anything. If anybody tells you to stop or hold it, there's nothing you can do. You can't push along, you might not push alongside it, but you can't stop it from happening. It's quite literally a reflex. I'm going to do a short demonstration for you now involving a balloon, which will be your uterus, and this ball, which will represent your baby. Okay, so now that the baby is in the uterus, I'll show you what happens here. So we tend to think of the cervix as this donut shape that just dilates from 1 to 10 centimetres. Actually, it effaces first. So from top to bottom, it's very thick like this, like the neck of the balloon. Those very early contractions on the sides of the uterus, like this, will be pulling the cervix up and around baby's head, effacing it, making it shorter, whilst coming down lower in the birth canal too. And then that first phase of labour keeps working on the sides of the uterus, pulling it open to beyond 4 centimetres, up to fully dilated, as you can see with the baby's head here, pushing on the cervix of the balloon. It's fully effaced and will eventually be fully dilated to allow the baby through. And then that last phase, that second phase of labour, is where the contractions start pushing on the top of the uterus, like this, pushing baby down and expelling baby out of the uterus, where eventually they will be born, just like this. And there they are. So we have the latent phase of labour that pulls the cervix up and around baby's head. And then the first phase of labour that really expands that cervix up to 4 centimetres. And the last phase that expels baby out.